Hello everyone, welcome on in. It's a very special Betting Weekly Game Bet Match, the number one tennis betting podcast and YouTube channel. The third round of Wimbledon gets underway tomorrow on Saturday, and looking ahead to the matches, I'm delighted to say joining me is Sean Calvert, our senior ATP Tour handicap. Before I introduce you to Sean, at the usual drama, I just want you to hit the subscribe button. I want you to hit the like. I'd like you to comment on the show. And I want you to ring that bell. Every time any bit of content is dropped from the Betting Weekly studios, you'll be notified and you won't miss any of the action here. Sean, good afternoon to you. I saw you again at Wimbledon yesterday on the Because We Win social media accounts. Another hot day, another long day, another mixed day in terms of betting as well.
It was a hell of a long day. I mean, I didn't get back till after midnight because I had to go to that Lana Del Rey concert, didn't I, straight after?
Did you go?
Yeah, I went.
I didn't think you'd go. I thought there was going to be you and someone else going. I thought it was your missus going or something.
It was, but she couldn't find anyone else to go with her. Having been there now, I can understand why no one else wanted to go with her. It was weird. I mean, I don't know much about Lana Del Rey. I do now. The whole evening.
She's not very good. She's not very good, is she?
Well, all her stuff's it's very slow. It's very kind of melodic. It's country. She's obviously very heavily influenced by country. For an hour and a half before she came on, all they were doing is playing like Tammy Wynette and Dolly Parton and Johnny Cash and all this stuff. It was just, and the weird thing about it was, pretty much everybody there was really young, like teenage young. There's it's mainly teenage girls, and I just found it a bit strange given the style of music that it's very kind of slow and. You know, it's not exactly uplifting or energetic. It's quite sort of, I would call it miserable. and everybody there.
Well, you should fit right in then. You should be perfect for you. You're the most miserable man I know, and you're in the miserable content.
I don't want other people being miserable. I'm doing the misery. I don't want other people coming in on the shtick as well. But I just thought it'd be like middle-aged people, like, you know, and it was all young girls basically. It was really weird. Very weird.
I got you the tickets, didn't I?
Yeah.
I got you the tickets for that.
Yeah.
And what were the seats like? Were the seats any good?
Yeah, seats were fine. Yeah, it was.
Good.
It was packed. They sort of cordoned off the back bit for the stage, but everywhere else was packed. We had to leave early because she did this. There was this warm-up act that came on. Who obviously I've got no idea who it was. Some woman called Addison or something. I don't know who that was, but she come on at about 7:30 or something. Did about 3 or 4 songs, which she was miming, by the way. If she's listening, I could see that. And then she disappeared, and then Del Rey didn't come on till about 9:10. So everyone was just sat there listening to Tammy Wynette and Johnny Cash for about an hour and a half. By the time she came on, we could only stay for about 6 songs, and we had to leave because of the trains and stuff. So I didn't get back till about half midnight or something like that. So I'm a bit jaded today. Apologies for any mistakes that I'm going to make today.
You got back at 12:15 and you're jaded. Come on, it's not rock and roll. This is like,
that was the
3
last
in the
train,
morning job.
The last train from London to here was like 11:05 or something like that. So if we'd missed that,
Uber, Sean, Uber, get the Uber.
That. This is all Natasha's birthday. This is what annoys me every Wimbledon. She has her birthday right in the middle of Wimbledon fortnight.
She can't help when she was born.
But she should be celebrating before or after. Not
parents should have.
Not in the middle of Wimbledon fortnight. I can't be doing with it. I think she's put Earl Grey tea in the wrong tea section as well here. But anyway, apart from that, I'm all right.
That will absolutely blow your mind. That's a instant red card.
Drinking Earl Grey.
You listened to Tammy Wynette last night. Obviously, the country music. We're going to stand by our man.
She played that
here? Obviously, yep. We're going to stand by you. We've had. There should be all the rockers are at Oasis tonight, not Lana Del Rey. Anyway, we're going to stand by you. There is a lot of tennis action. The third round is happening. It's been a mixed Wimbledon. It's been a strange Wimbledon, hasn't it?
Really
strange. Men's, women's. What do you put that down to? I don't understand what's going on here.
I mean, the women's, I don't know. I haven't seen it, but the men's.
That's even stranger than the men's.
I've never known a Grand Slam like. I say never a lot because my memory isn't that great, but I can't recall in recent times a major that's had so many upsets and like random upsets as well. I think I was thinking about this earlier. I think a lot of this is to do with just general fatigue and burnout, because we've had so many players, even in the last few days, talking about how they want to take a break from the game. They've had enough. Like Zverev was one. said he's really suffering. His mental health's really bad. Popyrin was another one. Bergs was another one. That's just this week. They've all said, I've had enough of this. This is too much. And earlier than that, obviously, we had Rublev talking about it. We had Minaur talking about it as well. Even Alcaraz. I think a lot of it is, Zverev's performance, if you watched him against Rinderknecht, I did toy with the idea of Rinderknecht in the first round, but I thought in a backhand to backhand against Zverev, I thought that's no contest. But he just, I wouldn't say he wasn't interested, but he came out after the match and said, look, I'm really struggling. I don't want to be here. I don't want to play this game anymore. Well, at the minute, how I feel. And loads of players are saying that, and I don't know whether that's part of it. I can't think of any other reason because the courts are the same, the balls are the same. I've got some more quotes about the conditions and stuff. I don't think it's anything to do with that. I don't know. Sometimes you get a weird tournament, don't you, where nothing goes as you would think. Loads of upsets, and we've picked a couple of them, but some of them you just wouldn't pick, would you?
No. It's been a terrible tournament for me, actually. The first day was brilliant, and I thought this is great. Ever since then, it's been downhill all the way.
I think if you just
hopefully
the dogs,
we can recover today.
You'd be fine, wouldn't you? And when do you ever say that?
I'm trying to do that, and I'm betting the wrong ones. That's the problem. I'm at the point where I'm sort of thinking, oh no, and I'm questioning myself, which happens all the time in betting when you do these kind of things. You go for a bet, you question yourself. But we're still in front for the year. We're doing okay.
We had a decent winner yesterday, Munar.
Yeah, Munar was a good winner. We have 10.82 units on the show, but not the Wimbledon the last couple of days has been a bit indifferent. Let's move on to the match. Let's concentrate on what we got going forward rather than what's happened in the past. Mm-hmm. And we have a match, 4 matches we're going to preview today. Well, I'm just going to say we've got 4 matches we're going to preview here for today, for tomorrow's action. Right. And the conditions are obviously changing because tomorrow the weather is going to get a bit cloudy. You're going to give us a weather update and let us know the conditions. A lot of tennis players, are saying it's playing slow, really slow.
It does look slow. It's I've said for many years that Wimbledon is not what it was, and I said the other day on the show that the stats were showing it was slightly quicker, but I did also say that is quite usual for the first round. After 94 main draw matches now, it's come down to almost exactly the average: 83% hold, 73.4% first serve points won, which is basically the average of Wimbledon. And a lot of the players, as you said, coming out and saying it's slower. De Minaur said it's slower, but it's something we all know and are accustomed to. Yes, if I had to compare it to Queen's is always much faster than Wimbledon. Djokovic, who played brilliant against Dan Evans yesterday. Was it yesterday? I feel like I'm losing track of it. It was yesterday.
It was yesterday. You were there.
No, but I feel like
you were there.
That Del Rey concert has blown my mind out. It's completely knocked me
out. A night out after 12 o'clock and you've turned into Cinderella.
I know. Yeah, that's why I don't do it.
What's going on here?
That's one of the reasons why I don't do it. Anyway, Djokovic, he said the Slazenger balls used here are of good quality, but they do soften much earlier than the ones we used here 10 or 15 years ago. I'm not sure if this is related to the ball production process or if something has changed, but I don't think it's the grass. I think the balls are slowing down the game. It's easier to play from the baseline nowadays at Wimbledon than it was at the beginning of my career. And Darderi, very simple, the grass here at Wimbledon is slower. So yeah, it's just been the trend that's been happening in the last, not even recently, like the last 15, 20 years, really. They have slowed it down. They just didn't want all the 7-6, 6-7, 7-6, 6-7, 2018. They just didn't want that. And they were looking at the other slams and looking at the longer matches they were having there, and that's what they wanted, and that's what they've got, which is, there's still, you can still, if you've got a big serve, you can still go a decent way in this tournament. We'll talk about some big servers in a minute, but yeah, compared to grass of old, it's definitely slower, yeah.
And the weather tomorrow's not good? Not
cloudy.
So good. Bit of thunderstorms, cloudy?
Yeah, I've got 22 degrees and sort of cloudy, 15-mile-an-hour winds as well, so yeah, conditions very different from how they were on sort of Monday and Tuesday, that's for sure. I don't think the weather makes that much difference in terms of like the court speed and stuff. It's some of the players were saying actually that it played slower on those really hot days. Like Medvedev, I think, was one, and there was one or two others that said it played slower because the grass was kind of so dry. It was creating more friction on the ball and making it slower. So there's a lot of things to think about.
Let's have a look at the betting. Let's have a look at the matches. First match up, Brandon Nakashima against Lorenzo Sonego, -210 for the American, Plus 165 for Sonego, the Italian player. 3.5 is the spread. 40.5 is the total. Met once before. It was in Hong Kong in 2025. Sonego won it 7-6, 6-3. Nakashima was getting some good grass court form together. He got to the quarterfinals of Queen's Club where he got beat by Jack Draper, but he pushed the Brit very, very close. Good couple of wins here against Boo and Opelka. Sonego beat our man Basilashvili yesterday. Good performance from Sonego. Sonego is a player that we always quite like on the totals, whether it be first sets, whether it be total on the match. 37 different markets available on the BetRivers app. Download the BetRivers app. If you do have a bet on any Maids matches, you'll be able to live stream the match. Sonego plus 165. Nakashima minus 210. I mean, total's pretty high at 40.5. What's the angle in here, Sean?
I think Nakashima's way too short, minus 210. I was surprised at these odds. I talked about Sonego the other day. I thought he was quite a bit too short against Basilashvili. He ended up winning it in 4. Well, the last 2 were tight sets. That could have gone to a 5th, but it didn't. But Nakashima minus 210, not for me. I mean, Sonego is one of those players, as I've said before, that performs better at majors. The only players to have beaten him 3-0 in the last 4 years at majors are Sinner, Nadal, and Federer. So nobody else has managed to beat him in straight sets. A few have beat him 3-1, but no one's beat him comfortably at a major apart from those elite guys. Look at what he's done since the start of 2021 at majors. 57% win rate, Sonego, and a service points won and return points won total of 103. That's at all the majors. If you look at the same time frame and take out majors, so we're just talking about the ATP Tour, his stats drop quite dramatically. 45% win rate and a service points won and return points won total of 99. So this is a player that quite clearly plays above him. Well, not above himself, but he plays his best tennis at majors. And in the general tour grind, he's a bit, lukewarm. So there's that element which I really like about Sonego. The head-to-head, they've only played once, but it was pretty telling, really. Sonego, 107-93 in terms of service points won and return points won totals. That was on a reasonable paced hard court. I think it was in Hong Kong. Sonego won a huge 84% of service points, 90% on his first serve, didn't face a break point. Nakashima only winning 16% of return points, so he was totally unable to handle the Sonego serve that day. And for me, Sonego is a better grass court player in the sense that he has much more variety. He's an all-court player. He's very comfortable at the net. He can mix it up. Nakashima, for me, just a bit one-dimensional, a bit sort of rigid. I don't think he's got that same variety in his game that Sonego has. I mean, Nakashima's got a decent record at Wimbledon, but he hasn't really beaten anybody. Again, this year, he beat Boo, who's been terrible on the grass, and Opelka, who's away from the serve. It's not happening for him at the minute. And if we look at what these two have done at Wimbledon so far, a couple of matches, Sonego, service points won and return points won, total 115. Very impressive. Nakashima very good as well, 112. But Sonego's winning 66% of his second serve points this Wimbledon. Both guys holding serve 94, 95% of the time. So, yeah, your initial sort of thoughts, I would agree with in terms of over games. But I just like Sonego either on the money line, plus 165 if you're feeling brave, or plus 1.5 sets at 1.82. That is a BetRivers. I'll probably go with that one. I think this is going to be a long match, possibly 5 sets. And if you've got the plus 1.5 sets, you're a winner there if it goes to a 5th.
Yeah, so we think Sonego could be a bit of value on the money line. If you're feeling brave, plus 165 is the price with BetRivers. But we're playing it safe. Plus 1.5 sets for the Italian against Nakashima. A favourite that is a little bit too short, we believe, on the market with BetRivers at minus 210. Let's move on to our second match. Alex de Minaur survived a bit of a scare in the last round up against one of the surprise packages. There have been a few surprise packages with him, but August Holmgren is his opponent, the Dane, and he's a massive price, plus 850. Felix, Alex de Minaur is minus 1667. The spread here is a massive 7.5. Total is low at 32.5. Holmgren has had some good wins this week. He's beat Mahak, he's beat Halis, come through qualifying, beat Kukushkin, Watanuki. Good wins. I don't really know much about Holmgren, if I was being totally honest with you. Mm-hmm. He was ranked 192 in the world before this tournament. He's probably, if a win here will take him very close to the top 100. He's obviously from Denmark, and he's up against a player that's played a lot of tennis this year, but I don't know if he's a big server. I haven't watched one of his games, Sean. So tell us a little bit about August Holmgren and what you like on this match.
He's a huge server. I tried to get onto this court yesterday. It was on court 12, Holmgren against Mahach. But they did this ridiculous thing on court 12. They probably do it on other courts as well, whereby you have to join one queue. And once you get to the front, they give you like a little card, which you then have to take to one of the entrances and give it to the guy to get in. And that queue was like huge. And what I also don't like about that is that you depending on where you go in, you might be sat on the side where your head's going left, right, left, right, left, right every couple of seconds. I can't handle that. But the queue was massive anyway. But this was a great match yesterday, Holmgren. People love to see him play. They've probably never seen him before. I haven't seen that much of him. But he's great entertainment. He goes for absolutely everything. Huge serve. Very, very risky style. What he did against Mahach yesterday, 35 aces, 88% first serve points won, 140 mile an hour serves, average first serve speed 130 mile an hour. Second serve, massive risk, 117 mile an hour average on his second serve. So this guy's not gonna go away from this tournament thinking, if only I'd have gone for it a bit more. No chance. He's going for everything. And he said afterwards, no matter what the situation is, I have to play my game in the big moments. Then, sometimes I can look like a huge idiot, like when I made 3 double faults in the tiebreak in the second set. And then I can look like a huge winner here at the end when I made a backhand down the line. And talking about de Minaur, he said, I don't see why it should stop here. I like this. This is a guy who's coming in, playing his game, going for everything. If it's going in, I'm winning. If it's not, too bad. Let's move on to the next one. I like that. It's refreshing. It's entertaining, and I think this will be a really entertaining match. It's a huge server, guy that goes for aggressive, goes for everything against de Minaur, the elite returner, and it's a great story. He saved Holmgren. He saved 3 match points in qualies against Watanuki. He saved 3 match points yesterday against Mahach. And he's rolled the dice, and now he's here. Yes, he's got an elite returner in de Minaur, but if Holmgren serves well and hits some lines, there's not much de Minaur or anybody else can do about it for a period. I can imagine de Minaur will win this match, but over a period of time he'll extend the rallies and he'll probably win it. But I think this will be very entertaining while it lasts. If we look at the stats of the 2 matches he's played in the main draw at Wimbledon, Holmgren, 98% holds the serve, 87% first serve points won. So that's up against de Minaur, who's winning 46.5% of return points. So it's a classic battle. The huge server against the great returner. And Holmgren's not doing enough on return himself, that's for sure. He's only winning 29.5% of return points. If we look at what de Minaur did yesterday, he's obviously never faced Holmgren. He'd never faced Cazot. Cazot's a pretty big server as well on his day when he's fit, when his body allows him to. And it took him a while to figure Cazot out. He lost the first set. So I'm playing a couple of bets here. I'm gonna split the stakes. A couple of half-point bets here. Holmgren to win the opening set is a 4.6 chance with Bet Rivers. Wow. And I'll take set 1 over 10.5 at 3.35 as well. So 2 small bets in this one. I'm just taking a chance on the fact that de Minaur doesn't know this guy, doesn't know his serve, doesn't know how to read it, doesn't know his patterns of play. Holmgren doesn't seem to me like the type that's going to be nervous. So yeah, I think that's the big priced fancies I've got in that one. Yeah, I think it's worth a.
I like that over 10.5 set 1. That sounds like a really nice price at plus $3 or bigger. Head across to the Bet Rivers, plus $2 or bigger. Head across to the Bet Rivers website now. Remember, the action starts tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock Eastern time, 11 o'clock on the outside courts, and obviously a bit later on the show courts. So make sure you get your bets on early with Bet Rivers. Also, make sure you subscribe to the Betting Weekly newsletter and the Insider. BettingWeeklyStudios.com is where you need to go for all that. Just give your email address and you will get the email sent to you every Monday and every Friday. Tips, exclusive tips from all the handicapping team. Move on to the next match. Marin Cilic produced a vintage performance yesterday against Jack Draper. Jack Draper wasn't at his best. He admitted that in his press conference before, but Marin Cilic raised his level and played sublime tennis. He's up against Jaume Munar, the man who made us the money yesterday, the man that we have said many times on this show that he can play on this surface. He's overall, he's always an underdog, but he's got potential to play on quicker surfaces or slower surfaces. If you look at it, it might be familiar to quick slow time. Jaume Munar's gone up to his highest ever ranking in the world after that, when he's up into the top 50 for the first time in his career. He's the underdog here at plus 128. Can Marin Cilic keep that level going? That is the question. Minus 159 is for the Croatian, former US Open champion. 2.5 the spread, total, as you would expect, high at 40.5. Marin Cilic was bet when the line went out, and he's now sort of on the drift a little bit. Money's coming in for Jaume Munar. The price of Munar has become a little bit tempting for the betters. I want to fade Cilic here after that big win against Draper, and I think this is a proper tricky opponent for him. I think this you'll be on the same wavelength as me here.
Yeah, I mean, I said in the show the other day that Cilic would not be an easy match for Jack Draper. I think I suggested over 35.5. That came in. I think. Cilic is, as I said, he's got that great record against left-handers. Draper, all to prove at Wimbledon, really. He came out after the match, and Draper saying he doesn't like these. He was basically saying he's more effective on a slower court, slower conditions than grass. He said he likes a bit more time now on his forehand. That's what he's saying anyway. But yeah, great win for Cilic. But yeah, this is going to be a battle. Every match with Munar is a battle. He continues to play well on the grass. He did almost blow it yesterday against Marin. I had to leave centre court where I was watching Dan Evans and come to court 14, which is very close by as it happens. And amazingly, I managed to get a seat. I think I only managed to get a seat because he was 2 sets and a break up, and everyone just kind of lost interest and kind of drifted away. But he got very stressed after failing on the first 5 or 6 match points. I think it was the 11th he eventually took Munar, and that's always been something I've said about him as well. He does really struggle to close matches out, but he's so much better on quicker surfaces this year than he has been in the past. And obviously, this grass isn't quick. If we look at the stats of the couple of matches they've played so far this Wimbledon, Munar service points won and return points won total 105, 85% holds the serve in there. Cilic, great numbers, 110 total for him and 91% holds, but. He's at the back end of his career now, Cilic. He was very good against Draper. Is he going to be very good against Munar? Maybe. Maybe not. Munar's already beaten one big server in public, and he did it in a very Munar way. He was not miles behind, but he was 2 sets to 1 down. I mean, Bublik, I think, served for the match. He was certainly 1.01 in play, Bublik, but Munar does not go away. You've got to scrape him off the court if you're going to beat him in a tournament like this. Cilic has always been a player that's up and down in his matches anyway. Anyone that's watched him over the years will watch him be sublime for about half an hour, and then he'll be absolutely awful. That he can't find the court, everything's sailing long or wide. He's always been that type of player. And at his age, you would expect, those ups and downs to maybe be more pronounced. And Munar's a pest. He's very, very hard to hit through, as Marijan found out yesterday. Marijan basically gave up, as I suggested he might. It was only Munar that let him back into it in the end. And of course, Munar was not far away from beating Alcaraz at Queen's. Very close to beating him at Queen's. I just feel like this will be unless Cilic comes out on his top level and remains there for the whole match, I just feel like this has got overs written all over it. This for me, I would be going over 40.5 games here at minus 109 with Bet Rivers. I think this will be an absolute battle.
Yep, over 40.5 games is the play for us here. Is that official play?
The first 2 matches are official plays. These 2 are the leans. So we've got 3 bets. We've got 2 that split stake and one that is just straight. But I'll come back to that in a minute. So
a lean on the Marin Cilic Jaume. I quite like Jaume plus 128 to win the match.
Wouldn't put anybody off.
Could be a perfect opportunity to fade Marin Cilic after that win against Jack Draper. Before we move on to our final day, we're recording this on July the 4th, so happy 4th of July to all our American viewers. So many of you who follow the show. Have a great day with holidays with your family, and all our work colleagues here at Bet Rivers and Because We Win. Have a great day with your holidays with your family and friends, and enjoy the celebration. So enjoy that, and hopefully enjoy the tennis as well. Let's move on to our final match. Jakub Mensik is up against Flavio Cobolli. Jakub Mensik is a player that has so much potential. He's a teenager, moving up the rankings and alarming, mate. Huge serve. Doesn't really have much else to his game apart from that serve. If the serve goes well, he's a danger for anyone. But, his second serve is a bit questionable. And his return game is certainly questionable. He's up against Flavio Cobolli, who put in a very, very good display yesterday, I must admit. I watched it against Jack Pennington-Jones.
Yeah.
And
did you see me?
I didn't see you, no, Sean.
I was in the second row.
Did you go back and watch to see if you can see yourself, or did someone see you? Did someone send you a picture?
No, I was just curious whether if you were watching that match. I was right. I was
behind watching the tennis. I wasn't looking at the crowd. I go back and watch it. But the one thing I did watch, I watched Cobolli put in a very good performance, and he played really well, actually. I mean, I know he played against a British guy who's not a household name, but it was a performance that. A better performance than you would expect from someone rated by Cobolli. He also had a lot of fans in the crowd. There's a lot of people cheering him, Italians, which surprised me as well.
There was a bunch
anyway,
behind
he's plus
me.
140.
About 5 or 6 just right behind me, the Italian fans there.
He was plus 143 to beat Jakub Mensik. 2.5 is spread here, and again, the total high at 40.5. Difficult challenge now up against an opponent that is moving up the rankings so quick, and a player that's got one of the biggest serves in the game. But as I said, he hasn't got much more to his game than that serve.
I think he does. He just isn't winning the second serve points for me. Still, I've talked about Mensik before. The movement is something that could be improved. It's not bad, but on grass that is anyway. I'm not seeing that many weaknesses, but it's just the consistency. The second serve it's not enough. He's not winning enough points, and that means he's relying on his first serve, probably relying on tiebreaks too often as well. We know he has that huge serve, but he was in trouble against Marcos Giron yesterday. Giron had plenty of chances in that match. He was a break-up in sets 2, 3, and 4. Giron ended up losing 3-1. That's kind of a Giron thing to do. Unfortunately, he's not the best at closing out sets either. I was there on court 18. Obviously, Cobolli was very nearly dragged into a battle with Pennington-Jones. He was a set and 5-2 up, Cobolli. When I left to get some water, I just thought that's that done. About 20 minutes later, he was 5-3 up in the second set tiebreak, Pennington-Jones, or PJ, as they were calling him. I guess it's just easier than saying, come on, Pennington-Jones, be there all day, wouldn't you? So they shortened it to PJ. Did wonder where Duncan was, but anyway. No one's going to get that, are they?
No. Well, let's get ready to rumble. Find out what's happening.
When he lost 5 in the next 6 points. You put me off now. He was 5-3. He was 5-3 up Pennington-Jones in the tiebreak. Lost 5 of the next 6 points. That was the turning point of that match. If he'd have gone 1 set all, that could have been very interesting. But Cobolli, having won that second set, moved away and won it pretty comfortably. But if you look at what they've done on grass this year at main level, they've both played 6 matches. They've both won 4 and lost 2. Mensik's got slightly better numbers, 103 in his service points won and return points won totals compared to 101 for Cobolli. But again, Mensik's only winning 49% on second serve. Cobolli's winning 57% on second serve. And that second serve number, it just worries me with Mensik. It's fine if he's making a ton of first serves. He's making 75-80% of first serves. It's not going to be a major problem for him. But if he's not, then that will expose him. Cobolli's been pretty competitive against big servers on the quicker surfaces, hard and grass. I mean, he's not won many. He's won 1, I think, out of 5. But they've all been pretty close. He beat Ben Shelton in Washington, D.C., where it's very hot and humid. He lost to Ben Shelton in 2 tiebreaks in Acapulco, and two of the three matches he played against Hubie Hurkacz were very, very close. And the one match he played against Mensik was pretty close as well. And Cobolli's winning 76% on his first serve against big servers. So, given the fluctuations in Mensik's level, given that Cobolli for me is improving a little bit now on grass. He was excellent in that first set against Pennington-Jones was terrible in the first set, but Cobolli was really, really good. again, I think this is going to go long. I think if Mensik wants to win this, he's going to have to serve really, really well, i.e. 75% first serve points in. Anything less than that, I think this is going probably the distance. So, again, I would go over 40.5. It was minus 106 when I looked earlier on. The line might have changed, but yeah, I'm expecting a very long and competitive match. Fluctuations in the level of both of them, I would expect.
Yeah, it's moved a little bit. Minus 106 has now become minus 112 with Bet Rivers. Download the app if you want to have a bet on one of Sean's suggestions there. So leans in the final two matches there. Official plays in the first two. Give us a recap of the official plays, please, Sean.
Yeah, I'm just going to take Lorenzo Sonego with a 1.5 set start at 1.82, that is, with Bet Rivers. And the second one, Holmgren against Minaur. I'm doing two small bets here, so half the stake. So that's half a unit on each of these. Holmgren to win the opening set at 4.6 plus 360. And set one over 10.5 games at 3.35 plus 235 with Bet Rivers.
Yep. Head across to the Bet Rivers website, like I said, get all those latest odds. Subscribe to the newsletter and the insider at bettingweeklystudios.com. It's for free. Loads of content coming your way from all the handicapping team here as well. A new week starts next week with Betting Weekly Live and all the usual shows as well. And myself and Sean will be back looking ahead to the second week of Wimbledon on Sunday on the Betting Weekly Game Bet Match Show. Sean, enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good weekend. Hopefully we'll cash some tickets and I'll speak to you again on Sunday. Take care, everybody. They are the bets. Gamble responsibly and please download that app and subscribe to the newsletter. And also give us a subscribe here. Give us a follow on the channel as well. We need their subscriptions up to 10,000. We're about 120 short. We need your help to do it before Wimbledon ends. Take care.